we've got what could be the coolest crawler of the year. It's the H10 Optic Trail Buggy. And this thing has awesome scale realism and has really easy access to the batteries, which buggies are notorious for being difficult. And it's got the new H10 Axles with some really cool features. So we're gonna check this thing out here in the studio, and then we're gonna go drive this sumbitch. So this is a 10 scale ready to run buggy, and it comes in at a 13.25 inch wheelbase and about 5.3 pounds without batteries. This box has a lot of graphics on it though. There's tons of information with colored images to tell you all about this buggy, and there is a lot of info here on the box before we crack it open. So we got a transmitter, the manual, and there's even AA batteries in there. I believe this is the same 4-channel transmitter that was included with the ready-to-run stance, and the only thing required is going to be a battery, 2 or 3S. Look at this thing! It looks absolutely awesome. This is one of the coolest trail buggies I think I've ever seen, and there's been a few of them out there that have existed, but this one's got some advantages that have never before been seen. Now let's just start with the scale looks, because this thing looks phenomenal. Now first we have a Sparco licensed ABS hardbody interior. And with our little driver inside, the helmet, the gloves, the race suit, and the racing harness are all officially licensed. And combined with the hard plastic cage, it all looks phenomenal. We also have ABS number plates. There's a molded licensed power tank, a molded black fuel cell, and then this molded gray H10 cage that comes on here. And the gray looks really cool, and it is finished off well, nice and smooth. On the alternate color scheme of this buggy, this cage is black color. Now the tires and wheels are also officially licensed. These are the Yokohama Geolander MT tires. They're 4.75 inches tall, and they are in the red compound. For the wheels, they're beadlocks. They're the KMC KM237 Riot beadlock wheels in black. Now these body panels are one of the coolest things about this thing. These are an ABS body panel, but what makes them really cool is this is where the battery is stored. So up top, we have this body clip right there. So if we pop this body clip off, there's a pin, and the pin goes from the top, you push it down, and you pull it out from the bottom. And that opens up this whole side panel, and that's where you're gonna store your battery, and there's some Velcro straps in there. Now there's actually 2 battery compartments then, because each panel on here will contain a battery. And there is the second battery compartment. Now the secondary battery compartment does not have Velcro straps, but you can add them in there. And I would recommend it, because if you're only gonna put one battery on one side, then it's gonna offset the left and right weight bias. And we're gonna throw this on the weight scale here in a little bit and see what that looks like. But for battery sizes, the ProTech 3S, I believe this is the 1400 milliamp hour, that will fit in there no problem with a bit of wiggle room. Or for a little bit more capacity, this is the 3-cell 1800 milliamp hour, and that fits in there really well. That is the snug pack and the largest you're gonna fit inside this puppy. And when we go out and drive in a little bit, we're gonna have one in each of these battery compartments. So when one battery dies too, you can just move the connector, swap the batteries, however you wanna do it, and then you've got a second battery to use. That is really awesome how these battery compartments are made. Now the next super awesome thing about this buggy are these new H10 axles. These are going to be wider than the F10 axles. They're a straight axle, they're not portals, but absolutely the coolest thing about them is this scale hydraulic ram style steering on the front with this stainless steel steering link. And when the steering moves, it goes through that mount there, and it just looks freaking awesome. This whole front end looks super scale, and you can't see the servo because it is mounted behind this axle. And it is mounted on the axle though, so it's going to bob up and down with the axle out on the trail. This front axle is also using universal drive shafts. It has an offset pumpkin. It has an integrated axle truss. It has new H10 steering knuckles on the end, and then it is using a 4-link suspension, and those links are going to be stainless steel. Then for the rear H10 axle, this is using a high pinion design. It's also a 4-link suspension with stainless steel links, and then we've got this red aluminum diff cap back here. Now underneath you can see this is a nice flat skid plate. This truck is using the VFD transmission, so that's why we have an offset front center drive shaft, and then in the rear it's going to use the straight. But you can see part of this buggy cage is really nice and smooth, and the molded plastics on here are really polished off. They look really nice, they're smooth, and there's no burrs or anything. It's impressive. Now this VFD transmission has been used for other trucks. We've seen it before, and in the Optic, it comes with a 6% overdrive. It has that low CG motor position, and then there's no slipper. It uses a slipper eliminator. The truck is also using a 32 pitch pinion and spur gear. There's sintered metal gears inside the tranny, as well as chromoly shafts. Overall, this is a super killer buggy. All these panels on the body are hard plastic, officially licensed decals, and it is just a phenomenal looking car. I almost forgot, these are the Incision S8E shocks, and they are aluminum bodied, and they're set up with quite a bit of rebound. They feel really nice and smooth. Just with the shock package, it is just a little bit lazier, where the buggy is, it's got a bit more to it. What's really interesting though, is just how tight the body is over a Lexan body that just kind of shakes and rattles on there. This thing is just a solid body chassis package. Now for the size comparison though against the Stance, the H10 Optic is gonna be longer on the width side. It is gonna be a little bit wider too. All right, let's throw the Optic on the corner weight scale. So the first weight here is no batteries at all. Okay, here's with a single battery on the left side. And lastly, here's with both batteries installed. So that is a perfect left and right side weight bias, which is gonna be excellent out on the rocks. So let's charge these batteries up and go do that. It wasn't turning as sharp to the right as to the left, but you can adjust the endpoint adjustment easily on the transmitter, so that's what we've done. overall, the throttle is smooth, the steering power is great, it looks phenomenal, and I have no complaints. It's really awesome. I'd like to try different weighted wheels, but other than that, it is just an awesome looking and performing buggy that you can access the batteries easily on. So definitely a cool car. So guys, go check out the H10 Optic with our links down below. And if you want more RC videos, check these out.